After 18 years in prison, she returned, and the people who framed her begged. I was 17 when they stole my life. My name is Maya Torres, and I had everything a teenage girl could want. I lived in Willowbrook, a small town where everyone knew your business before you did. I was captain of the debate team, straight A student, and dating the boy every mother wanted for their daughter, Tyler Brooks. My best friend was Vanessa Carter, daughter of our town's mayor. We'd been inseparable since we were 6 years old. That spring, everything seemed perfect. I wore my mother's vintage dress to the spring gala. Tyler picked me up in his father's Mercedes. Vanessa was already at the school gymnasium, setting up decorations with purple streamers and silver balloons. "You look beautiful," Tyler whispered as he opened my door. I believed him. I believed everything back then. The gala was magical, loud music, terrible fruit punch, friends laughing and taking endless photos. I danced with Tyler, joked with Vanessa, and felt invincible. At exactly 10:47 p.m., Principal Anderson burst through the gymnasium doors. 2 police officers flanked him. His face was ghost white. "Everyone remain calm," he announced over the microphone. "There's been a serious incident." The music died. 300 students froze mid-dance. "Someone broke into my office tonight. They stole $15,000 from the scholarship fund." Whispers erupted like wildfire. My stomach twisted into knots. "We have evidence," Principal Anderson continued, his voice shaking. "Maya Torres, come with us immediately." The gymnasium went silent. 500 eyes turned toward me. My heart stopped beating. "What? That's impossible." But it wasn't impossible. It was happening. They searched my locker in front of everyone. Inside, wrapped in a plastic bag, was $15,000 in cash. In my backpack, they found a crowbar covered in paint chips from the principal's office door. My fingerprints were all over it. "I didn't do this," I screamed, my voice breaking. "Someone's setting me up." Tyler stepped backward, away from me. His face showed confusion, then disgust, then nothing at all. Vanessa covered her mouth with both hands. "Maya, how could you?" "I didn't." But nobody believed me. Not the police. Not Principal Anderson. Not my classmates who'd known me for years. My parents arrived at the police station at midnight. My mother collapsed when she saw me in handcuffs. My father stood frozen, unable to speak or cry or do anything except stare. They charged me with burglary and theft. Because I was 17, they tried me as an adult. My court-appointed lawyer was named Mr. Phillips. He had tired eyes and 17 other cases. "The evidence is overwhelming, Maya," he said flatly. "Your fingerprints. The money in your locker. Your backpack. Plead guilty, get 15 years. Go to trial, get 25. I'm innocent. That doesn't matter anymore." I demanded a trial. I refused to admit guilt for something I hadn't done. The trial lasted 6 days. District Attorney Victoria Stone prosecuted my case. She was ruthless and cold. "Ladies and gentlemen," Victoria said in her closing argument, "Maya Torres had opportunity. She was a trusted student leader with building access. She had motive. Her family faced financial difficulties after her father lost his job. She had means. The evidence speaks for itself." Tyler testified against me. "She seemed stressed about money," he said quietly, avoiding my eyes. "She mentioned wanting to help her parents pay bills." Vanessa testified too. "Maya had been acting strange for weeks," she whispered, dabbing fake tears with a tissue. "Secretive. Nervous. Distant." The prosecution presented security footage showing me leaving the gymnasium at 9:15 p.m. I was gone for 47 minutes. I went outside for fresh air. I insisted on the stand. The punch made me sick. Nobody believed me. The jury deliberated for 2 hours and 33 minutes. Guilty on all charges. The judge sentenced me to 18 years in Lakeside Women's Correctional Facility. My mother screamed and collapsed. My father finally cried, silent tears streaming down his face. I was 17 years old. I would be 35 when they released me. If I survived that long. Lakeside Women's Correctional became my new world. The first night, I cried until my throat burned and my eyes swelled shut. My mattress was thin and smelled like disinfectant mixed with despair. My cellmate was a woman named Carmen. She was 41, serving 10 years for armed robbery. 3 rules, Carmen told me that first night. Don't trust anyone. Keep your head down. Survive. I learned quickly that prison wasn't like movies made it seem. It was worse, boring and terrifying simultaneously. Days blurred together in an endless gray loop. Wake at 5:30 a.m. Breakfast that tasted like cardboard. Work detail in the laundry room or kitchen. Lunch. More work. Dinner. Lockdown at 8 p.m. Sleep. Repeat forever. Violence erupted randomly over nothing. A stolen dessert, a wrong look, an accidental bump. I kept my head down like Carmen taught me. But the worst part wasn't violence or terrible food or crushing boredom. It was hopelessness. I wrote letters to everyone I'd known. My parents. Former teachers. Tyler. Vanessa. Anyone who might believe my innocence. Only my parents wrote back. 2 years after my conviction, my mother's letter mentioned that Tyler and Vanessa had gotten married. She apologized for telling me. I wasn't surprised. I'd seen how they looked at each other during my trial. The years crawled past like wounded animals. I turned 18 behind bars. Then 21. Then 25. Then 30. But something inside me changed during those 18 years. I stopped crying. I stopped hoping for rescue. Instead, I learned. The prison library became my sanctuary and my weapon. I read everything: law books, psychology texts, business strategy, philosophy, criminal investigation techniques. I studied my own case until I could recite every detail from memory. I learned about evidence planting, fingerprint transfer, how investigations could be manipulated. I learned about corruption and power and how justice could be bought. I made friends with other inmates, women who'd been betrayed, framed, forgotten. Each one taught me something valuable. Carmen taught me how to read people. Watch their hands, not their faces, she said. Hands always tell the truth. People can control their expressions, but hands don't lie. A woman named Keisha taught me about patience and timing. Revenge is a meal best served frozen cold, she explained. You rush it, you ruin it. You wait, you win. Another inmate, Diana, had been a private investigator before prison. She taught me how to find information, track people down, and connect dots others missed. I earned my high school diploma through correspondence courses. Then I took college classes. I earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Then a master's degree in psychology. Guards started respecting me. Other inmates came to me for advice about their cases, their appeals, their lives outside. But I never forgot what happened. I never forgot Tyler's face when he stepped away from me. I never forgot Vanessa's fake tears. I never forgot Victoria Stone's satisfied smile when they read the guilty verdict. And slowly, piece by careful piece, I began understanding what really happened that night. The truth arrived in an unmarked envelope when I was 32 years old. I'd been imprisoned for 15 years. The letter came from an address I didn't recognize. Inside was a yellowed newspaper clipping. Former Mayor Carter dies at age 67. Vanessa's father. Dead from a massive heart attack. I almost threw it away. But something made me keep reading. At the bottom, someone had written in shaky blue pen. Deathbed confession to his nurse. He knew everything. He planned everything. My hands trembled so badly I nearly dropped the clipping. I wrote immediately to the return address. The letter came back marked undeliverable. No such address. But the seed was planted deep. I started digging through old records using the prison's limited resources. I filed Freedom of Information requests, I contacted legal advocacy groups. I wrote to investigative journalists. Slowly, painfully, the picture assembled itself like a terrible puzzle. Mayor Carter had been embezzling from Willowbrook for years. Not just the scholarship fund, construction projects, town budgets, community programs, everything he could touch. The spring gala theft was supposed to be his final score before retiring. But something went wrong. Someone noticed irregularities. An audit was scheduled for that Monday morning. Carter needed a scapegoat immediately. I was perfect, trusted, popular, completely unsuspecting. Vanessa and Tyler helped him execute the plan. Vanessa planted the money in my locker during the gala. Tyler convinced me to go outside for fresh air, creating a gap in my alibi. The crowbar with my fingerprints? I'd helped Vanessa move old equipment in the school basement 2 weeks earlier. That's when they collected my prints. Everything was calculated. Everything was planned. Everything worked perfectly. And I walked straight into their trap. The evidence I gathered was strong but incomplete. I needed more, much more, to prove my innocence and destroy them completely. I needed 3 more years. I used that time wisely. I refined my research. I connected with advocacy organizations. I built relationships with journalists who specialized in wrongful convictions. And I planned my revenge down to the smallest detail. On a cold Tuesday morning in October, I walked out of Lakeside Women's Correctional Facility. I was 35 years old. I'd been inside for 18 years, 2 months and 17 days. My mother waited outside the gates. She looked ancient now, bent and weathered by time and grief. My father had died 7 years earlier from a stroke. They'd let me attend his funeral in handcuffs and leg shackles. "Baby," my mother whispered, hugging me tightly. I hugged back, but my eyes scanned the parking lot, already calculating and planning. "Let's go home, Mom." Willowbrook hadn't changed much. Same coffee shop, same hardware store, same grocery store, same judgmental people. But I had changed everything. Prison had made me lean and hard. My eyes were different now, cold, calculating, dangerous. The soft, trusting girl who believed in justice and fairness was dead. She'd been replaced by something patient and merciless. I moved back into my childhood bedroom. I got a job shelving books at the public library. I smiled politely at neighbors. I was quiet and pleasant. Everyone felt sorry for me. "Such a tragedy," they whispered. "That poor girl paid her debt to society." If only they knew the truth. I wasn't there to rebuild my life. I was there to demolish theirs. I started with careful surveillance. Tyler and Vanessa lived in Willowbrook's largest house, a modern mansion on 5 acres. Tyler ran his family's commercial real estate empire. Vanessa was a lifestyle influencer with 75,000 Instagram followers. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. Perfect family. Perfect smiles. Perfect lies. Built on my stolen 18 years. I watched them for months. I learned their routines, where they shopped, where their children attended school, who their friends were, what they cared about, what they feared. I didn't rush anything. District Attorney Victoria Stone was now Judge Victoria Stone, sitting on the state Supreme Court. Presidential campaigns sought her endorsement. She was considered untouchable. She had no idea what was coming. I spent 6 months just observing, learning, and preparing my strategy. Then I made my first careful move. I created an anonymous email account using library computers. I sent one simple message to Tyler's biggest commercial client. Ask Tyler Brooks about the Carter Scholarship Fund. Ask him what he really knew. The client called Tyler. Asked uncomfortable questions. Tyler laughed it off nervously. Ancient history. I was just a kid back then. But doubt was planted like a seed. I sent more messages to different clients, to business partners, to local journalists, to community leaders. Always the same message. What did Tyler know? What did Vanessa do? Why won't they talk about Maya Torres? Tyler and Vanessa laughed about it initially. Some internet troll, Vanessa said dismissively. Probably just bored teenagers. But the messages kept coming, steady and relentless. My next move was more direct and more dangerous. During my prison research, I discovered something crucial. Mayor Carter hadn't destroyed all evidence of his crimes. He'd kept insurance, documents, records, proof, hidden away in case he ever needed leverage against his co-conspirators. I knew exactly where he'd hidden everything. It took me 3 weeks to gain access to Vanessa's childhood home. The new owners were vacationing in Europe. I'd learned lockpicking from a woman in prison who'd been a professional burglar. I found the documents in the basement behind a false panel in the wall, exactly where the deathbed confession note had indicated. Bank records, wire transfer receipts, handwritten notes in Mayor Carter's distinctive scrawl, and photographs. Crystal clear photographs of Vanessa and Tyler planting evidence in my locker, taken by Mayor Carter himself as insurance. My hands shook violently as I held them. 18 years. They'd stolen 18 years of my life. And here was absolute proof. I didn't take the originals. Not yet. That would be stupid and premature. I photographed everything with a burner phone. Then I carefully replaced everything exactly as I'd found it, leaving no trace of my presence. I wasn't ready to play that card yet. Timing was everything. Over the next month, I sent anonymous packages to Tyler's business partners. Each package contained a simple typed note. Tyler Brooks lied under oath. Maya Torres was innocent. Proof exists. No proof included. Just the terrible claim. But it was enough to plant deeper doubt. Tyler's business partners started asking harder questions. His reputation was built entirely on trust and integrity. If people believed he'd lied and sent an innocent girl to prison, deals started falling through. Clients became nervous and distant. My next move targeted Vanessa's carefully constructed perfect life. Vanessa's Instagram was her pride, her income, and her identity. Perfect family photos. Perfect home decor. Perfect lifestyle. She had sponsorship deals worth thousands monthly. Makeup companies, clothing brands, kitchen appliances, furniture stores. I created dozens of fake accounts using library computers and burner phones. I started leaving calculated comments on her posts. I wonder if your followers know what you did to Maya Torres? Beautiful family. Built on someone else's destroyed life. How do you sleep at night, Vanessa? Do you ever think about her? Initially, Vanessa deleted comments and blocked accounts. But I created more accounts. Dozens became hundreds. The comments spread like infection. Other people started asking questions. Who's Maya Torres? What happened? Why won't Vanessa address this? Old newspaper articles resurfaced online. Local teen convicted of theft. Willowbrook scholarship scandal rocks community. Vanessa's follower count started dropping. First slowly, then rapidly. Sponsors started sending concerned emails asking for explanations. Vanessa was panicking now. I could see it in her increasingly frantic Instagram stories. Tyler tried helping. He hired an expensive cybersecurity firm to identify who was behind the harassment campaign. They found nothing. I was too careful, too patient, too well trained by 18 years of surviving. Then I escalated significantly. I sent certified letters to every member of Tyler's business board. Each letter contained the same message. Tyler Brooks committed perjury. He helped frame an innocent girl. He destroyed Maya Torres's life. Justice is coming. Tyler's carefully built empire started cracking. Tyler appeared at my door at 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. He looked terrible, unshaven, exhausted, hollow-eyed. His previously perfect hair was a mess. His expensive suit was wrinkled. "Maya," he said through my screen door. "Please. We need to talk." I looked at him silently. The boy I'd loved. The boy who destroyed me. He looked pathetically small now. "What do you want, Tyler? I need you to make this stop. Please. My business is collapsing. My reputation is destroyed. Everything I built. Everything you built on my stolen life, I interrupted coldly. I was 17. Vanessa said it was just a harmless prank. I didn't know it would. You testified against me under oath. I thought you were guilty. The evidence was planted by you and Vanessa and her father. M. Tyler's face crumpled like wet paper. I'm so sorry. God, Maya. I'm so incredibly sorry. If I could take it back. You can't. Please. Tell the media this is a misunderstanding. Say you forgive us. Say anything that will. Get off my porch, Tyler. Maya, please. I'm begging you. His voice broke into something desperate and ugly. There it was. The moment I dreamed about for 18 years, 2 months and 23 days. Tyler Brooks, the golden boy, begging on his knees. No, I said simply. I closed the door on his pleading face. Through the window, I watched him sit on my porch steps and cry like a child. I felt nothing. Vanessa lasted exactly 2 more days before breaking. She appeared at my door with both children. A calculated move. She thought I wouldn't be cruel in front of innocent kids. She was wrong about many things. Maya, Vanessa said. Her voice shook. She'd been crying for hours. Her perfect makeup was ruined, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Please. My children don't deserve this. They're being bullied horribly at school. Other parents won't let their kids play with mine. My daughter came home crying yesterday because someone called her family liars. I looked at Vanessa's daughter. She was 8 years old roughly. Completely innocent. Something twisted painfully in my chest. Your daughter is 8, I said quietly, keeping my voice level. I was 17 when you destroyed my entire life. Do you know what prison does to a 17-year-old girl, Vanessa? I'm so sorry. Do you know what it's like to turn 18 in a cell? To celebrate your 21st birthday in prison? To turn 30 surrounded by concrete and razor wire? To watch your entire youth disappear while you're innocent? Maya, please listen. My father died while I was inside. I said goodbye to him in handcuffs at his funeral. Where were you, Vanessa? Oh right, you were posting vacation photos from the Bahamas. I saw them online. Vanessa was sobbing now, full, desperate, ugly sobs. What do you want from me? She screamed. You want me to go to prison? Fine. I'll confess everything. I'll tell them the complete truth. Just please leave my family alone. I felt absolutely nothing looking at her. 18 years of pain had burned away my capacity for mercy. No, I said calmly. What? Prison is too easy. Too simple. Too quick. Vanessa stared at me, confused and terrified. I want you to live with what you did. Every single day. I want you to watch your perfect life crumble piece by piece. I want you to know that everything you have, your house, your followers, your reputation, your lifestyle, was built on the shattered pieces of my destroyed life. And I want you to lose absolutely everything. You're a monster, Vanessa whispered. I smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. No, Vanessa. I'm exactly what you and Tyler and your father made me. You created this. Now live with your creation. Vanessa grabbed her children's hands and ran to her car. I watched her drive away too fast, tires squealing. Her daughter looked back at me through the rear window. Her small face was confused and scared. I felt a tiny flicker of guilt. Then I remembered 18 years in a cell. The guilt disappeared. Judge Victoria Stone was my final target, and she would be the hardest to break. She had power, connections, legal immunity, and political protection. But I had patience and irrefutable proof. The photographs I'd found included more than just Vanessa and Tyler. They showed financial transactions, wire transfers between Mayor Carter's personal accounts and Victoria Stone's campaign fund during my trial. Victoria had known everything. She'd been paid handsomely to prosecute and convict an innocent teenager. I contacted an investigative journalist named Marcus Webb who specialized in corruption cases. I sent him anonymous copies of everything: bank records, photographs, timeline documentation. Marcus was brilliant and thorough. His team had forensic accountants verify every transaction. The money trail was absolutely clear and damning. When his story broke on national news, it was massive. A sitting state Supreme Court judge had taken bribes to imprison an innocent girl. The scandal exploded across every news channel and website. Judge Victoria Stone held an emergency press conference. She denied everything, her voice sharp and defensive. "This is a political witch hunt," she declared. Maya Torres was guilty. The evidence at trial was absolutely clear and convincing. But the evidence against Victoria was clearer and more convincing. Within 1 week, the State Bar Association opened a formal investigation. Within 2 weeks, impeachment proceedings officially began. Victoria tried desperately to reach me, through intermediaries, through lawyers, through mutual contacts, through anyone who might have access. Her message was always identical. What does Maya want? Money? A public apology? What will make this nightmare stop? My response never varied. Nothing. Because nothing could give me back 18 years. 3 months after Marcus Webb's investigation aired, Tyler's commercial real estate company declared bankruptcy. His business partners had abandoned him. His clients had fled. His reputation was completely destroyed. Vanessa's Instagram account was deleted after she lost all 75,000 followers. Every sponsor dropped her immediately. Her friends stopped returning calls and texts. Victoria Stone was impeached, disbarred, and removed from the bench. Her legal career was finished. Her political ambitions were dead. Her legacy was destroyed. But somehow it still wasn't enough for me. They were still free. Still breathing fresh air. Still walking around Willowbrook. I had lost 18 years in a cell. They had lost careers and reputations. It wasn't equal. It wasn't justice. It wasn't enough. One night, Tyler appeared at my door again very late. He was drunk, stumbling, crying. "You won," he slurred. "Okay. You won everything. We're completely destroyed. Our lives are over. Are you happy now, Maya? Are you finally satisfied?" I looked at Tyler carefully. Really looked at him. Was I happy? Was I satisfied? No. I'd expected revenge to feel sweet and satisfying. I dreamed it would heal something inside me. Instead, it felt hollow and empty. "Go home, Tyler." "I'm going to kill myself," he said quietly, staring at the ground. My stomach dropped violently. "What did you say?" "You heard me clearly. What's the point anymore? Everything's gone. My family won't look at me. My children know what I did and hate me. I can't live with this guilt anymore." He was completely serious. I could see it in his dead eyes. For the first time in 18 years, I felt something other than anger and hatred. I felt exhausted. I called Vanessa immediately. "If Tyler hurts himself, his blood is on your hands," I said when she answered. "What do you want from me?" Vanessa sobbed. "You've already taken absolutely everything. I want what you took from me. 18 years. My youth. My father. My innocence. My life. But I can't have any of those things back, can I?" "Then what do you want, Maya?" I was quiet for a long moment, thinking carefully. What did I actually want? For 18 years I'd wanted revenge. I'd dreamed about it, planned it, lived for it, survived for it. And now that I had complete revenge, it felt meaningless. "I want you to help me," I said finally. "What?" "There are thousands of other people like me. Innocent people rotting in prison cells. Framed. Forgotten. Abandoned by the justice system. I want you and Tyler to use whatever resources you have left to help them. I want you to fund innocence projects," I continued. "Legal aid organizations. Criminal justice reform initiatives. I want you to spend the rest of your lives making this right." Not just for me, but for everyone the system has failed. Vanessa was silent for almost a minute. And if we actually do this, will you stop destroying us? I'll never stop making sure people know what you did. That truth needs to exist forever. But I'll stop actively destroying you if you actually help people. Real help. Not just writing checks. Real meaningful work. Okay, Vanessa whispered. Okay, Maya. We'll do it. 6 months later, I stood in front of Willowbrook High School's auditorium. They'd invited me to speak at a special assembly about justice, resilience, wrongful conviction, and second chances. The auditorium was completely packed. Students, teachers, parents, community members, local media. I looked at hundreds of faces staring back at me with curiosity and sympathy. My name is Maya Torres. I began, my voice steady and clear. When I was 17 years old, I was sentenced to 18 years in prison for a crime I absolutely did not commit. You could hear a pin drop. The silence was profound. The people who framed me are here in this auditorium today. Shocked gasps rippled through the crowd like waves. I gestured toward the back row. Tyler and Vanessa sat there together. They looked terrible, aged, broken, hollow. They completely destroyed my life. And for a very long time I wanted to destroy theirs. And I did exactly that. I took everything from them. And you know what I learned through that experience? I paused for effect. Revenge doesn't heal you. It doesn't give back what you lost. It just makes you as empty and broken as the people who hurt you. I looked directly at Vanessa and Tyler. So we made a deal. They're going to spend the rest of their lives helping people they don't know. Fixing a justice system they benefited from and abused. Working to free innocent people. It won't bring back my 18 years. Nothing can do that. But maybe their work will save someone else from losing theirs. I saw tears streaming down Vanessa's face. Tyler was staring at his hands, unable to meet my eyes. I'm not telling you to forgive people who hurt you, I continued. Forgiveness is personal and complicated. I'm telling you that holding on to hate and revenge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It destroys you slowly from the inside out. After the assembly ended, students came up to me. They thanked me, asked thoughtful questions, and told me their own stories of injustice and pain. One girl waited until everyone else had left. She was maybe 15 or 16. Shy and nervous. Miss Torres, she said quietly, I'm being bullied really badly at school. Like really badly. And I've been thinking about hurting myself. My chest tightened painfully. What's your name? Sophia. Sophia, listen to me very carefully. Whatever you're going through right now, it's temporary. I absolutely know it doesn't feel that way. I know it feels like it'll last forever. But it won't. You'll survive this. And you'll become stronger because of it. How can you possibly know that? Because I survived. And if I can survive 18 years in prison for something I didn't do, you can survive high school bullies. The girl hugged me suddenly and started crying. I hugged her back tightly. And for the first time in 18 years, I felt something other than pain or anger or emptiness. I felt purpose. 5 years passed. I stood outside Lakeside Women's Correctional Facility again on a bright Tuesday morning. But this time I wasn't going in as prisoner number 847362. I was going in as attorney Maya Torres, specialist in wrongful conviction cases. The Torres Foundation, funded by Tyler and Vanessa's remaining assets and growing donations, had freed 19 innocent people in 5 years. I personally visited each freed person when they walked out those gates. I helped them adjust to freedom. I gave them hope and practical support. Tyler and Vanessa worked for the foundation full-time now. They would never be wealthy again. They would never be respected in Willowbrook. But they were finally doing genuinely good work. Judge Victoria Stone had died 2 years after her impeachment. Massive heart attack at age 61. I'd sent flowers to her funeral. I didn't attend. Carmen, my old cellmate, was released 8 months ago. I immediately gave her a job at the foundation doing intake interviews. You actually did it, Carmen said one afternoon while we processed case files. You got revenge and redemption both. I don't know about redemption, I replied honestly. Then what would you call it? I thought carefully about her question. Justice, I said finally. Not the kind the broken system gives you. The kind you build yourself from nothing. My phone rang. Another case. Another innocent person desperately needing help and hope. I answered it immediately. After all, I had 18 years of stolen time to make up for. I wasn't going to waste a single precious day. The new case was complicated. A woman named Priya Desai had been convicted of embezzlement 7 years ago. She was 31 now, serving a 15-year sentence. Her case file was thick with inconsistencies. I drove to Lakeside Women's Correctional to interview her. Walking through those gates as a lawyer instead of a prisoner felt surreal. Guards who'd once ordered me around now treated me with professional respect. Priya sat across from me in the visiting room. She looked exhausted but hopeful. Miss Torres, she said, her voice shaking slightly. Thank you so much for coming. Nobody else would even look at my case. Tell me everything, I said, opening my notebook. Start from the beginning. Her story was painfully familiar. Evidence that appeared suddenly. Witnesses who changed their testimony. A rushed trial. An overworked public defender. I spent 4 hours interviewing her, taking detailed notes. I'll investigate, I promised. No guarantees, but I'll examine everything thoroughly. Driving back to my office, I thought about how many Priyas existed. How many Mayas? How many innocent people were rotting in cells while guilty people walked free? The system was broken in fundamental ways. But I was going to fix it one case at a time. Tyler called me that evening. Maya, we received a significant donation today. An anonymous donor gave us $50,000 for the foundation. That's wonderful, I said genuinely. Also, I wanted you to know Vanessa and I are teaching a criminal justice reform course at the community college. We're sharing our story, showing students what happens when good people make terrible choices. That's good, Tyler. Really good. There was a long pause. Maya, do you think you'll ever forgive us? I considered his question carefully and honestly. I don't know, Tyler, I said truthfully. Some days I think maybe eventually. Other days I still feel the anger burning. Forgiveness isn't a switch you flip. It's a process. Maybe a lifelong process. I understand, he said quietly. We don't deserve your forgiveness anyway. But we'll keep working. Keep trying to make things better. After hanging up, I sat on my small apartment balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and purple. My life was nothing like I'd imagined at 17. No Tyler. No Vanessa. No innocence. But it was mine. Built by my choices, my strength, my refusal to stay broken. The next morning, I received an email from Marcus Webb, the investigative journalist who'd exposed Victoria Stone. Maya, I'm working on a national series about wrongful convictions. Would you be interested in being interviewed? Your story could help change laws. I immediately replied yes. If my nightmare could prevent someone else's, it was worth reliving. The interview happened 2 weeks later in Marcus's office. Cameras rolling, lights bright. Maya, Marcus began gently, what would you say to your 17-year-old self? I thought about that frightened girl in the blue dress. I tell her that she's stronger than she knows. That survival is possible even when it seems impossible. That pain doesn't last forever, even though it feels eternal. And that sometimes justice takes 18 years, but it's worth the wait. What would you say to people currently fighting wrongful convictions? Don't give up. Document everything. Trust the process even when the process failed you. Find people who believe you. And remember, your innocence matters, even if the system temporarily forgot. The interview aired on a Friday evening during prime time. My phone exploded with messages. Emails poured in. Letters arrived at the foundation. People I'd never met sent support, donations, and their own stories of injustice. The Torres Foundation expanded rapidly after the interview aired. We hired 3 more lawyers. We opened a second office. We took on 12 new cases. Vanessa managed our social media presence, sharing success stories and raising awareness. Tyler handled finances and fundraising. Carmen coordinated with prisons and conducted initial client interviews. We were becoming something significant, something powerful, something that mattered. One afternoon, I received a letter from Sophia, the high school girl who'd talked to me about being bullied. Dear Ms. Torres, I wanted you to know that I didn't give up. The bullying eventually stopped. I'm graduating next month with honors. I'm going to study criminal justice in college because of you. Thank you for saving my life. I cried reading that letter. Good tears this time. This was why I survived. This was the meaning behind the suffering. 6 months later, we freed Priya Desai. I was there when she walked out of Lakeside Women's Correctional. Her family surrounded her, crying and laughing simultaneously. Thank you, Priya said, hugging me tightly. You gave me back my life. You did the hard part, I told her. You survived. You stayed strong. That evening, the entire foundation team celebrated at a small restaurant. Tyler, Vanessa, Carmen, our 3 new lawyers, and me. To 19 freed innocent people, Tyler said, raising his glass. And to many more. To Maya, Vanessa added quietly, who turned tragedy into purpose. I looked around the table at these imperfect people doing important work. To second chances, I said. For all of us. We clinked glasses. Later that night, alone in my apartment, I looked at a photo on my desk. 17-year-old me in the blue dress, smiling innocently at the camera. We made it, I whispered to her. We survived. And we're helping others survive too. Year 7 after my release brought unexpected developments. The state legislature passed the Maya Torres Act, comprehensive criminal justice reforms addressing evidence handling, wrongful convictions, and compensation for exonerated individuals. They invited me to the signing ceremony at the state capitol. Governor Patricia Walsh shook my hand firmly. Your story changed everything, Maya. This law will protect thousands of people. Standing there, watching the governor sign legislation with my name on it, felt surreal. 18 years in prison. Now this. The foundation continued growing. We freed our 25th innocent person. Then our 30th. Each release was a victory. Each freed person was proof that the system could be corrected, that justice could prevail eventually. Tyler's children, now teenagers, started volunteering at the foundation. His daughter, Emma, was particularly passionate about the work. Miss Torres, Emma said one Saturday while organizing case files, I know what my parents did was terrible, but watching them try to make it right, I don't know. It's taught me that people can change. That redemption is possible. Your parents are lucky to have you, I told her honestly. Vanessa's son, Oliver, was quieter but equally committed. He wanted to become a defense attorney. Someone has to defend people who can't defend themselves, he explained simply. Watching these kids work filled me with unexpected hope. The next generation was learning from our mistakes. Maybe that was the real victory, not revenge but breaking the cycle. One evening, Carmen and I stayed late at the office, reviewing a particularly difficult case. You know what's funny? Carmen said suddenly. What? Prison destroyed you. But it also created you. The you that exists now wouldn't exist without those 18 years. I don't know if that's tragic or beautiful or both. Carmen's words stayed with me for days. She was right. Prison had destroyed the innocent girl I'd been. But it had forged someone stronger, more purposeful, more determined. I wouldn't wish my experience on anyone. But I couldn't deny that suffering had shaped me into someone capable of creating meaningful change. The foundation received a major grant, $500,000 from a national organization dedicated to criminal justice reform. We immediately expanded again. 2 more offices, 5 more lawyers, partnerships with law schools whose students could earn credit through our Innocence Project clinics. We were becoming a movement. I started speaking at universities, conferences, and legal associations, sharing my story, advocating for reform, teaching future lawyers about the human cost of wrongful convictions. After one speaking engagement, a law student approached me nervously. "Ms. Torres, I have a question. How did you stop being angry? How did you let go of the hate?" I considered her question carefully. "I'm not sure I did completely let go," I admitted. "Some days I still feel angry, but I learned to channel that anger into productive action instead of destructive revenge. The anger became fuel rather than poison." "That makes sense," she said, nodding thoughtfully. A year later, Tyler was diagnosed with early-stage cancer. He called me himself to tell me. "I'm not asking for sympathy," he said quickly. I wanted you to know. In case something happens, I wanted to make sure you knew the foundation would be protected. I've set up trusts, legal protections, everything." "Tyler, I'm sorry you're dealing with this." "It's okay. Maybe it's karma. Maybe it's just life. Either way, I'm ready for whatever happens. The foundation needs you," I said honestly. "You do good work now." "Thanks, Maya. That means more than you know." Tyler's cancer treatment was successful. He went into remission after 6 months. The experience changed him visibly. He became even more dedicated to the foundation's work, often putting in 12-hour days. "I got a second chance at life," he told me. "Just like you gave me a second chance at being a decent human being. I won't waste it." On the 10-year anniversary of my release, the foundation hosted a gala fundraiser. Over 300 people attended. Lawyers, activists, formerly incarcerated people we'd helped, donors, supporters, and community members. I gave a speech about the journey from prisoner to advocate. 10 years ago, I walked out of prison filled with anger and thoughts of revenge. Today, I stand here surrounded by people committed to fixing a broken system. That transformation didn't happen overnight. It was painful, difficult, and ongoing. But it was worth it. I paused, looking at familiar faces in the crowd. To everyone who's been wrongfully convicted, your story matters. Your innocence matters. Your life matters. Don't give up fighting. The applause was thunderous. After the gala, Vanessa pulled me aside privately. "Maya, I know I don't deserve to ask this, but do you think, could we maybe be friends someday? Not now, obviously, but eventually." I looked at her carefully. She'd aged considerably, gray hair, lines around her eyes, hands that trembled slightly. "I don't know, Vanessa. Maybe. Ask me in another 10 years. "Fair enough," she said, nodding. "Fair enough." That night, lying in bed, I thought about everything. 17-year-old Maya would never have imagined this life. She dreamed of college, maybe law school, a career, marriage, children, normalcy. Instead, I got something different. Something harder. Something more meaningful. I got purpose. And maybe that was enough. Today, 15 years after my release, I'm 49 years old. The Torres Foundation has freed 73 innocent people from wrongful convictions. We have 12 offices across 8 states, 28 lawyers, hundreds of volunteers, partnerships with universities, advocacy organizations, and legal clinics nationwide. We've helped pass criminal justice reform legislation in 15 states. We've changed lives. We've changed laws. We've changed the system one case at a time. Tyler passed away 3 years ago from a heart attack. He was 51. At his funeral, his children spoke about how he dedicated his final years to redemption and justice. Vanessa still works at the foundation. She's 62 now, living modestly, volunteering 30 hours weekly. We're not friends. We'll probably never be friends. But we're colleagues united by a common mission. Carmen retired last year. She's 68, living peacefully in a small house the foundation helped her buy. My mother is 83 now, still sharp and proud of everything I've accomplished. She attends every foundation event. Last week, I received a letter from a woman currently serving year 12 of a wrongful conviction for armed robbery. Dear Ms. Torres, I heard about your foundation from another inmate. I'm innocent. I've been screaming that for 12 years. Nobody listens. Please help me. Please don't let me disappear. I immediately added her case to our review list. Because that's what I do now. That's who I am. I'm not the innocent girl who wore a blue dress to a high school dance. I'm not the bitter prisoner who dreamed only of revenge. I'm attorney Maya Torres, founder of the Torres Foundation. I'm someone who survived hell and decided to help others survive theirs. I'm someone who turned tragedy into purpose, pain into power, and injustice into meaningful change. The people who framed me didn't just beg for mercy. They ultimately became allies in the fight for justice. That's a better ending than revenge ever could have given me. And the story isn't over yet. There are still innocent people waiting for someone to believe them, to fight for them, to refuse to let them disappear. I'll keep fighting until my last breath, because I know exactly what it's like to be forgotten. And I'll never forget them. The end.